In the heart of Southeast Asia, where the ancient rhythms of the monsoon meet the relentless pulse of modern commerce, lies a nation of profound and vibrant contrasts. It is a land of two distinct halves, separated by the shimmering expanse of the South China Sea. On one side, a peninsula of bustling cities, colonial echoes, and fertile plains anchored to the Asian mainland. On the other, the wild, untamed landscapes of Borneo, a world of ancient rainforests, powerful rivers, and unique indigenous cultures. This is a place where dense, primordial jungles, among the oldest on Earth, give way to coastlines fringed with white sand beaches and protected by coral gardens. This is a country built at a historic crossroads of civilizations, a place where the great cultures, faiths, and flavors of Asia have converged for centuries, creating a society that is as complex and layered as it is remarkably harmonious. This is Malaysia. From the vantage point of a satellite, it appears as a tapestry of deep greens and urban grids, a landscape where tradition and progress are not in conflict but are woven into a single, intricate pattern. The light here is different, thick, golden, and humid, filtering through the tropical air to illuminate the colorful peeling facades of heritage shophouses and the gleaming, climate-controlled steel of modern skyscrapers. But to truly understand Malaysia, one must look closer beyond the geography and the architecture to discover a nation defined by its people. It is a society where multiple worlds exist side by side, not in silent isolation, but in a constant, dynamic, and often audible exchange. This is a story of daily life in a nation that has, through history and necessity, mastered the art of living together. It is a story of the delicate, ever-shifting balance between the old and the new, the urban and the wild, the sacred and the secular. This is the story of life in Malaysia. The day in Malaysia begins not with a single, uniform alarm, but with a gentle, layered hum that gradually builds into a symphony of diverse routines. In the cities and towns across the nation, the morning call to prayer, the azan, echoes from the minarets of the mosques, a serene and melodic start to the day for the country's Muslim majority. It is a sound that drifts through open windows, a moment of shared peace before the day's energy takes hold. Soon after, the sizzle of woks, the rhythmic clang of metal spatulas, and the clatter of ceramic plates join the chorus, as hawker stalls and traditional coffee shops, known as kopitiams, open for the breakfast rush. Morning is a time of quiet ritual and shared community. In the urban neighborhoods, the local wet market, or Pasar Pagi, is the undisputed center of activity. Here, under canvas awnings, vendors arrange pyramids of exotic tropical fruits, hairy red rambutan, purple mangosteen, and the formidable, pungent durian, alongside bundles of fresh vegetables, glistening seafood on beds of ice, and mounds of fragrant spices like galangal, turmeric, and lemongrass. The market is more than a place to shop. It is a social hub, a living network where neighbors catch up on local news, haggle good-naturedly, and share a friendly word. Their conversations, a seamless, fluid blend of Malay, Mandarin, Tamil, and English, often within the same sentence. In the smaller towns and rural villages, the kampungs, the pace is more deliberate, more attuned to the natural world. Life is tied more closely to the rhythms of the sun and the rain. A fisherman on the east coast checks his brightly painted boat. A rubber tapper, in a small holding, makes his morning rounds before the day's heat intensifies. and a family in a traditional wooden house on stilts tends to their small vegetable patch. Here, the community is a direct extension of the family. Doors are often left open, a sign of trust and welcome, and children play freely in shared courtyards and fields, watched over by a collective of parents, grandparents, and neighbors. There is a deep-seated, unspoken understanding of mutual support, a concept known as gotong royong. This is the spirit of communal living, where the community instinctively comes together to help with tasks too large for one family, preparing for a wedding feast, repairing a storm-damaged roof, or cleaning the local mosque or community hall. This spirit of collective responsibility, whether in a high-rise condominium in Kuala Lumpur or a longhouse in Sarawak, is a foundational cornerstone of Malaysian society, fostering a powerful sense of belonging and shared identity that transcends cultural and religious lines. To understand the soul of Malaysia is to understand its multicultural heart. For centuries, the strategic location of the Malayan Peninsula made it a vital hub in the maritime spice trade, a meeting point for traders, migrants, and settlers from across the globe. This long history of interaction has created a unique cultural mosaic composed primarily of the indigenous Malay people, who are the majority, and large, well-established Chinese and Indian communities, alongside a rich and diverse tapestry of indigenous peoples, the Orang Asli of the peninsula, and the dozens of distinct ethnic groups in the states of Sabah and Sarawak on Borneo. This diversity is not just a demographic statistic recorded in a census. It is the very essence of the nation's identity, a living, breathing, and constantly evolving reality that shapes every aspect of daily life, from politics and language to food and festivals. Tradition is a powerful and visible thread in the social fabric. It is seen in the elegant, modest baju kurung and the formal baju Melayu worn by Malays, especially on Fridays and during festive occasions. It is seen in the vibrant, shimmering saris of Indian women and the traditional high-collared cheongsams worn during Chinese celebrations. It is heard in the multitude of languages spoken on the street, where it is common for individuals to be multilingual, switching effortlessly between several tongues. While Bahasa Malaysia is the national language that unifies the country, English is widely used as the language of business and higher education. At home and within communities, various Chinese dialects like Hokkien, Cantonese, and Mandarin, and Indian languages such as Tamil, Telugu, and Malayalam are spoken with pride, preserving a direct link to ancestral heritage. This multiculturalism is most joyously and visibly expressed during the country's many religious and cultural festivals. Crucially, these celebrations are not confined to a single community. They are embraced and shared by all. During Hari Raya Aidilfitri, which marks the end of the holy fasting month of Ramadan, Malay families practice the tradition of open house, welcoming friends, colleagues, and neighbors of all backgrounds into their homes to share in festive meals and sweets. At Chinese New Year, the thunderous beat of drums and the acrobatic, playful lion dances are enjoyed by everyone, believed to bring good fortune and ward off evil spirits. And during Deepavali, the Hindu festival of lights, the beautiful, illuminated decorations and intricate rice flower patterns known as kolam are admired by all Malaysians, symbolizing the triumph of light over darkness. These shared celebrations, along with Christmas, Vesak Day for Buddhists, and indigenous harvest festivals, like Gawai Dayak in Sarawak, foster a deep sense of national unity and mutual respect, a spirit known locally as muhibba. They turn cultural differences into a source of collective strength, curiosity, and national pride. The Malaysian economy is a direct reflection of the nation's own journey of transformation, a dynamic and complex blend of traditional, resource-based industries and a modern, diversified, and increasingly innovative marketplace. For decades, the country has been a major global player in manufacturing and exports, with the electronics sector forming a critical part of the global supply chain. In sprawling industrial parks in states like Penang and Selangor, a skilled workforce assembles the components that power the world's leading technology brands. Alongside this industrial might, the services sector has become a powerful engine of growth, particularly in Islamic finance, information technology, and tourism. Centered in the gleaming corporate towers of cities like Kuala Lumpur and the rapidly expanding southern hub of Johor Bahru. At the same time, agriculture and natural resources remain a vital part of the economy and the landscape. Malaysia is one of the world's largest producers of palm oil, and vast, orderly plantations are a common and sometimes controversial sight in many parts of the country. This industry provides livelihoods for hundreds of thousands of people, from smallholders to plantation workers, though it also presents complex environmental and social challenges that the nation is actively working to address through sustainability initiatives. The national oil and gas company, Petronas, remains a cornerstone of the economy, its success symbolized by the world-famous towers that bear its name. Yet for all the scale of these large industries, the true backbone of the Malaysian economy is often found at a smaller, more personal level. Small and medium-sized enterprises are the lifeblood of the country, from family-run restaurants and automotive workshops to innovative tech startups and creative agencies. In every town and neighborhood, the local sundry shop, or Kedai Runsit, is a community institution, a place for daily necessities, a bit of gossip, and a friendly conversation. This deeply ingrained entrepreneurial spirit, combined with a steadily growing and aspirational middle class, has created a society that is pragmatic and forward-looking, yet still deeply rooted in the values of hard work, family enterprise, and community relationships. If there is one singular passion that unites all Malaysians, transcending culture, religion, and social class, it is a deep, abiding, and encyclopedic love for food. The country's cuisine is a delicious and direct reflection of its multicultural heritage, a true culinary melting pot where Malay, Chinese, and Indian flavors, ingredients, and cooking techniques have blended and borrowed for generations to create something entirely new, vibrant, and unique. In Malaysia, food is not merely sustenance. It is a national pastime, a social ritual, a constant topic of conversation, and a source of immense, often competitive, pride. The heart and soul of Malaysian food culture is found on the streets, in the bustling hawker centers, open-air food courts, and late-night mamak stalls that come alive every evening. Here, under a cacophony of sounds and a fragrant cloud of steam and smoke, dozens of individual stalls, each often specializing in a single dish passed down through generations, serve up a dizzying array of culinary delights. The air is thick with the layered aromas of lemongrass, chili, coconut milk, toasted belacan, and turmeric. The undisputed national dish, nasi lemak, is a perfect embodiment of this fusion. Fragrant rice cooked in rich coconut milk and pandan leaves, served with a fiery chili paste called sambal. Crispy fried anchovies, roasted peanuts, a slice of cucumber, and a hard-boiled or fried egg. Another beloved staple is roti canai, a flaky, buttery, pan-fried flatbread of South Indian origin, served with a savory lentil or meat curry, perfect for tearing and dipping. From the rich, tangy, and spicy coconut broth of a Penang Assam laksa to the smoky, wok-fried flat noodles of char kway teow, every dish tells a story of cultural exchange and adaptation. The unique Peranakan or Nyonya cuisine, born from the intermarriage of Chinese traders and local Malays, offers a perfect synthesis of these worlds, with dishes that blend Chinese wok techniques with Malay spices. Meals are almost always a communal affair, a time for family and friends to gather, order a variety of dishes to share, and connect. In Malaysia, the question, "Sudah makan?" "Have you eaten yet?" is more than just a question. It is a greeting, a gesture of care, and an open invitation to share in one of life's greatest and most unifying pleasures. Life in Malaysia is lived in the constant, humid embrace of a lush and powerful natural environment. The country is one of the world's 12 megadiverse nations, a classification reserved for the planet's most species-rich countries. It is home to an astonishing and sometimes overwhelming variety of flora and fauna. The landscape is dominated by tropical rainforests, some of which, like those in the National Park of Taman Negara, are estimated to be over 130 million years old, making them older than the Amazon. These ancient forests are the green lungs of the nation, a complex, multi-layered world of towering dipterocarp trees, cascading waterfalls, hidden caves, and exotic wildlife. The jungles of Borneo in particular are a world apart, home to iconic species like the gentle orangutan, the comical proboscis monkey, and the majestic hornbill. This proximity to nature is deeply ingrained in the Malaysian way of life. The outdoors is not a distant concept reserved for epic expeditions. It is an accessible and frequently used backyard. On weekends and public holidays, it is common for families to escape the city heat by heading to the cooler, misty climes of the Cameron Highlands or Genting Highlands, with their rolling hills of tea plantations and strawberry farms. Others flock to the country's many beautiful islands, like Langkawi, Tioman, or the Perhentians, for a day of swimming, snorkeling, and relaxation on the beach. For the more adventurous, hiking is a popular pastime, with a vast network of trails winding through national parks and forest reserves, offering everything from gentle family walks to challenging multi-day treks. These trails lead to breathtaking views, hidden waterfalls, and a chance to connect with the wild. This deep, almost instinctual appreciation for the natural world is a shared value, though it exists in a delicate and often fraught balance with the pressures of development and modernization. The challenge of preserving this incredible biodiversity for future generations is a responsibility that many Malaysians, from government agencies to local communities, take to heart, understanding that the nation's natural heritage is one of its most precious and irreplaceable assets. For all its deep-rooted traditions and wild landscapes, Malaysia is a thoroughly modern and impressively well-connected nation. A sophisticated network of well-maintained highways, Most notably, the North-South Expressway crisscrosses the peninsula, linking major cities and towns and making road travel efficient and accessible. In the capital, Kuala Lumpur, a modern and integrated public transportation system of light rail, monorail, commuter trains, and an expanding subway network moves millions of people every day, a vital and constantly growing artery in the life of the bustling metropolis. On the streets, the motorcycle remains a ubiquitous and essential mode of transport. It is a nimble, affordable, and efficient way to navigate the often congested city traffic, a symbol of the country's dynamic, fast-paced, and resourceful urban life. This impressive physical connectivity is mirrored and perhaps even surpassed in the digital world. Malaysia has a very high rate of internet and smartphone penetration, and technology is seamlessly integrated into the fabric of daily routines. From mobile banking and e-commerce to ordering food, booking transport through ride-sharing apps, and paying for groceries, digital life is a part of the everyday experience for a majority of the population in cities and increasingly in rural areas as well. This seamless blend of modern infrastructure and digital convenience allows Malaysians to enjoy a high standard of living, with instant access to global trends, information, and entertainment. Yet this hyperconnectivity does not erase local culture. Instead, it often enhances it, allowing small businesses to thrive online and communities to stay connected across distances. It is a society that has embraced the tools of modernity not as a replacement for its identity, but as a means to adapt and strengthen it, creating a lifestyle that is both globally connected and uniquely, unmistakably Malaysian. The future of Malaysia is being actively shaped by its young people, a generation that is skillfully navigating a complex world of global opportunities and deep-seated cultural traditions. The education system itself reflects the nation's multicultural makeup. The public school system teaches primarily in Bahasa Malaysia, but it runs in parallel with vernacular schools that use Mandarin or Tamil as the primary medium of instruction, a system that preserves cultural heritage while sometimes sparking debate about national integration. This multilingual environment, however, equips young Malaysians with the cognitive flexibility and communication skills to move between cultures from a very early age. Higher education is a major national priority, and the country is home to a growing number of respected public and private universities, attracting students from across Asia and the Middle East. After graduation, many young professionals enter a competitive and dynamic job market, finding opportunities in the country's diverse and growing economy. They are a generation that is globally aware, digitally native, and highly ambitious. Yet, for all their modern outlook, they remain deeply connected to their families and cultural roots. The family unit, not the individual, remains the central pillar of society. It is common for young adults to live with their parents until marriage, and sometimes even after. Respect for elders is a deeply ingrained and non-negotiable value, and major life decisions regarding career, marriage, or finances are often made with the guidance and blessing of the family. The great challenge and opportunity for young Malaysians is to find a way to balance these two worlds, to forge a successful career in a globalized economy while upholding the traditions, values, and family obligations that have defined their culture for centuries. It is a delicate and ongoing balancing act that this generation is performing with creativity, resilience, and a strong, evolving sense of identity. The rhythm of daily life in Malaysia shifts dramatically with the setting of the sun, revealing two distinct but deeply interconnected worlds. The daytime is a period of work, commerce, and focused, purposeful activity. The cities hum with the energy of business. Offices are busy, schools are in session, and markets are filled with people going about their daily errands. The intense equatorial sun dictates a certain pace, with many seeking the cool, air-conditioned refuge of shopping malls and offices during the hottest part of the day, between noon and 3. As evening descends, a different kind of energy emerges, softer and more social. The intense heat of the day subsides, replaced by a cooler, more comfortable air, and life moves decisively outdoors. This is when many Malaysian towns and cities truly come alive. The undisputed star of the evening is the Pasar Malam, or night market, a beloved and essential institution in almost every neighborhood. Streets that were busy with traffic during the day are closed off and transformed into lively pedestrian thoroughfares lined with hundreds of stalls selling everything from clothes, toys, and household goods to an incredible, mouth-watering variety of street food. The air fills with the sounds of generators, sizzling woks, and vendors calling out to customers, and the smells of grilled meats, sweet pancakes, and savory snacks. The night is a time for socializing and relaxation. Families and friends gather at open-air restaurants and the ubiquitous mamak stalls, Indian Muslim eateries that are open 24 hours a day, sharing long, leisurely meals and watching live football matches on large screens. The culture of lepak, a colloquial Malay term for the art of relaxing, chilling, and hanging out with friends, is a cherished part of the lifestyle. While the central business districts grow quiet, residential areas, entertainment hubs, and food districts buzz with activity late into the night. This daily transformation from a society of work to a society of community, food, and leisure is a fundamental part of the Malaysian experience, a daily cycle that perfectly balances productivity with the simple, essential joy of being together. So why do people choose to build their lives here, at this bustling, complex, and beautiful crossroads of Asia? Why do so many who leave to study or work abroad feel the powerful pull to return? The reasons are as diverse and layered as the population itself, but they often return to a few central, fundamental themes. They stay for the incredible, unparalleled richness of the culture, for the daily, lived experience of a society where different traditions are not just tolerated, but are actively celebrated, shared, and woven into the national identity. They stay, without question, for the food, a world-class, endlessly varied culinary scene that is accessible, affordable, and a constant source of joy and discovery. They stay for the opportunities, for the chance to be part of a dynamic and growing economy that for many offers a tangible path to a better life for themselves and their children. But most of all, they stay for the profound and unshakable sense of community, for the warmth, generosity, and friendliness of the people, and for the feeling of belonging to a place that is both deeply traditional and confidently modern. They stay for the unique balance, the balance between the fast pace of the city and the deep tranquility of nature, which is never more than a short drive away. It is the ability to work in a high-tech office in the morning and be hiking in a 100-million-year-old rainforest by the afternoon. It is the joy of sharing a meal that blends the flavors of 3 continents, and the pride of celebrating the festivals of 4 different religions as if they were all your own. Life in Malaysia exists in a state of dynamic and beautiful equilibrium. It is a nation constantly and consciously negotiating the space between its storied, multicultural past and its ambitious, unified future. Between the sacred preservation of its rich cultural tapestry and the full-throated embrace of global innovation. It is a place shaped by the monsoon winds, the tropical sun, and a collective spirit of quiet resilience, pragmatism, and mutual respect. Here, the quality of life is measured not in grand gestures or dramatic upheavals, but in the small, meaningful, everyday interactions, in the sharing of a meal, the exchange of a greeting in multiple languages, and the simple, profound comfort of a community that understands that its strength lies in its differences. It is a living, breathing testament to the idea that diversity is not a challenge to be overcome, but a gift to be cherished, creating a society that is layered, complex, vibrant, and deeply, uniquely human.